जय गुरुदेव प्रभुबा प्रभुबा प्रभुबा।
ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला महाराज की
जय।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की
जय।
नंदगुड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
नमाचार्य दास ठाकुर की
जय।
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद शुद्ध शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
जय।
Like go प्रेमानंदे
हरि बोल।
all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Lakshmi Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namah Namah Pankajanaಭಾಯ Namah Pankajamalini Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pankam Dangayate Girim Yasya Bhatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 14, new chapter, the three modes of material nature, and today we will be discussing 4 verses 1 to 4. So, I'll read first verse. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yat Jnatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhimido Gadaha. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yat Jnatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhimido Gadaha. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yat Jnatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhimido Gadaha. Katyani Maji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Param Bhuya Pravichyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhimido Gadaha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna go. Snigdhamaji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्री भगवान वाच परं भूयः प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानं ज्ञानमुत्तमं यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्व परं सिद्धिमितो गतः। Can I read the
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Param, transcendental, Bhuyah, again, Pravakshami, I shall speak, Jnanam, of all knowledge, Jnanam, knowledge, Uttamam, the Supreme, Yat, which, Yantva, knowing, Munayah, the sages, serve all, serve all, param, transcendental, siddhim, perfection, itah, from this world, gatah, attain. The blessed Lord said, Again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse 2. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargevi nopajayande pralaye na vyadanti cha. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargevi nopajayande pralaye na vyadanti cha. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargevi nopajayande pralaye na vyadanti cha. Copy Animaji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Idam jnanam vasritya mama sadharmyam agataha sargepi nopajayante layena vyatanti cha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sikamaji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Idam jnanamupasritya mama sadharmya magataha sargapi nepajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. Idam, this jnanam, knowledge, upasritya, taking shelter of mama, my, sadharmyam, nature, agata, attain, sargepi, even in the creation, never, upajayante, comes in, pralaye, in the annihilation, nor, vyatanti, disturbed, so also. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. Text 3. Mama yonir mahabrahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarvabhutanam tado bhavati bharata. Mama yonir mahabrahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarvabhutanam tado bhavati bharata. Mama yonir mahabrahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarvabhutanam tado bhavati bharata. Yes, Kathy Animaji.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Amayonir Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham Sambhavah Sarvabhutanam Tado Bhavati Bharata. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sikamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mama yoni mahad brahma tasmin narva dadhamyaham sambhavah sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Mama, my, yoni, source of birth, mahat, the total material existence, Brahma, supreme, tasmin, in that, garbham, pregnancy, dadhami, create, aham, I, sambhavaha, possibility, sarva bhutanam, of all living entities, tataha, thereafter, bhavati, becomes, Bharata, O son of Bharata. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I am pregnant, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. Text 4. Sarvayo nishikanteya murtaya sambhavandiyaha tasam brahma mahadyoni aham bija pradapida. Sarvayo nishikanteya murtaya sambhavandiyaha tasam brahma mahadyoni aham bija pradapida. सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तया सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनि अहं बीजप्रदपिता. Yes, Kapteni.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. सर्वयोनिषु बहुधेया मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनि अहं बीजप्रदः
पिता. Right.
बीजप्रदाः पिता. हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
पिता है पिता. Right. So, Snigdhamaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarvayonishu Kamteya Murtayah Sambhavanti Yaha Tasang Brahma Mahajoni Ahang Bija Pradah Pita. Sarvayonishu, in all spaces of life, Kamteya, O son of Kunti, Murtayah, forms, Sambhavanti, is they appear, Yaha, which, Tesham, all of them, Brahma, Supreme, Mahadiyoni, the source of birth in the material substance, Aham, myself, Bijapradaha, seed giving, Pita, father. It should be understood that in all spaces of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Dhruva Mahyam Dadadi Swapadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udavada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Vadan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishadan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Taptakanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadruvishcha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Shri Bhagavan Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yat Jnatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhi Vido Gadaha. The Blessed Lord said, again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection. Hare Krishna. So this last section of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13 to 18, is predominantly basically dealing with jnana. So why jnana is required? Because that will nourish bhakti. Bhakti is most important. Bhakti is the essence of relationship between the Supreme and the living entities. But because of our ignorance, because we are fallen to material world, we have become ignorant of our real position. And we have started this nonsense of evolving through a lot of species, birth after birth, birth after birth, birth after birth. So what is required is now to enlighten that knowledge, which will help us to understand our real position, who we are, and what is our relation to Krishna, and all those knowledge for which we require the intelligence. Knowledge can be acquired by proper use of your intelligence. Knowledge is by that by which something is known. Knowledge means that by which something is known. And intelligence means to understand things as they are. So, intelligence, buddhi, and knowledge, jnanam, go hand in hand. So, the scriptures are directed at the intelligence of the human being. In the 13th chapter, we have understood the 24 elements comprising of the body, bruised body and subtle body. And out of that, buddhi is a one important factor. And buddhi is intelligence. The scriptures are directed at the intelligence of the living entity, so that it can, by its being strong, getting stronger, it can control the mind and the senses. It's the mind and senses which bind us in this material world. The mind and senses which are ruled by the conditioned soul's desires. Because of desires of conditioned soul only, our desires have become sense-oriented. Our desires is mainly how to enjoy the material nature with our body. So that is why in 13th chapter, verse 22, Krishna says, Purusha pradisto bhungte pradije gunan karanam guna sangasya sadasad yoni janmasu. Purusha is situated in the Prakriti. That means the living entity is inside this body. Prakriti here is a body. Purusha is Jiva. Jiva is residing inside this body, and its intention is to enjoy the facilities in the form of gunas, which is offered by this Prakriti. And because of this association with gunas, the living entity is forced to take on so many things. So starting from 13th chapter, the light is shed on the intelligence, on jnana, by which we can know our very pitiable position, present condition, and then come out of this condition. So jnana started with dealing with 6 subjects in the 13th chapter. Which are the 6 subjects that is being dealt in the 13th chapter, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Kshetragya, Jnana, Jnana.
Yes.
And Prakriti and Purusha.
Yes. These are the 6 subjects that is being dealt, that was dealt in 13th chapter. At some places in length and some places briefly also. So this is classified as good, very good knowledge. Because we can understand what is Kshetra. Kshetra has been very nicely described as 24 elements. And Kshetrajna means one who knows the Kshetra. One who knows what is body. That is Kshetrajna. And Jnanam is actually, here Jnanam in the 13th chapter is those qualities which help us in gathering knowledge. It's actually not knowledge itself. Knowledge is actually, it is in 14th chapter, it comes, deals with the gunas and then creation and then Krishna's role. So the jnanam, which is described in 13th chapter, verses from 8 to 12, is those qualities which we acquire that will help us to understand this jnana, starting from amanitva. Amanitva is very important. So we have to be very humble. If you want to understand something, we have to be initially very humble. Then we have this very nice, Bhaitu Ananya Bhaktena Bhakti Vivicharini, what do you call it? Undeviating in devotion to Krishna. Then Acharya Upasanam, service to Guru. These are the two main qualities. And if we have these two qualities, serving the Guru and having undeviated, undiluted, fixed, totally exclusive devotion to Krishna, other qualities will automatically fall. So that Nyayam is described. Nyayam means that by which the knowledge, that by which, by the knowledge, what is understood. By using that knowledge, what is being understood. And that means the object of knowledge. You can say Nyayam is the object of knowledge. And Nyayam, object of knowledge, is the two kartas, two kshetrajñas, or two, I can say, atmas, jivatma and paramatma, that is given. And then prakriti and purusha. Prakriti is a nature and purusha is a living entity, but the purusha is different from kshetra. Kshetrajña means one who is aware of this position, and purusha is here he is a bonded person, is a bonded atma. He is in bondage. So the difference between purusha and prakriti is given very nicely. Or both are common thing is that both are eternal because both are energies of Krishna. So prakriti as well as purusha are eternal. But the prakriti is transformable, but purusha is not. The living entity is not transformable. And then prakriti produces all those bodies and senses by which the living entity can enjoy. So the living entity is an enjoyer. So in the last session, the Jnana Chashisha verses from 27 to 35, all this is being summed up. Ultimately focusing on Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Now, Krishna here says that what is given in the previous chapter is knowledge, but I am going to give you more knowledge. Jnananam jnanamuttamam, the most perfect of all knowledge. I am going to param bhuya pravaksha, I am going to speak again, and this time I am giving you knowledge which has no parallel, which is supreme knowledge. And that is knowledge regarding the gunas. Because we have understood that karana guna sangasya, that subject is karana guna sangasya. So what are the gunas? What are the different types of gunas?
Sattva, Raja and Tamaguna.
Yes. And what are the how we understand these different gunas, and what is the influence of these gunas on the living entity, and what is the behavior of a living entity who is under gunas, then how to overcome these gunas, and what are the qualities of the person who has overcome these gunas. These are the subject matter of this chapter. So Krishna says, when you understand this supreme knowledge, there are many saints or sages who have acquired this perfection by understanding this knowledge. Yajñātva munaya sarve param siddhi mido madaha is the most supreme perfection, and supreme perfection is to understand Krishna and what is our relationship with Krishna. This is the supreme knowledge. So this chapter basically has got 27 verses. And the breakdown of this chapter into 5 sections. Section 1, 14.1 to 14.4, that is 4 verses, today's verses. This liberation and the conditioning of the living entities. Liberation and conditioning of the living entities. Second section is 5 to 9, which is 5 verses. The modes bind the pure soul. What are the modes and how they bind this pure soul? Section 3 is 10 to 13, and these 4 verses. Recognizing modes supremacy. Recognizing modes supremacy. And section 4, 14.14 to 18, again 5 verses. Acting and dying within the modes. What happens if you act in particular gunas, and what happens if you die in that particular guna? What is the result that you can expect? Both the results of what action and results after one's death are predominated by a specific mode of nature. So this section speak of that. And the last section 5 verses 14.19 to 14.27, 9 verses, transcending the modes. It's based on Arjuna's question, how we can understand this person who has transcended the modes. So Krishna elaborately answered that. So these are the section of this one. I shall post. Already posted in this one. Maybe Sindamaji has separately posted in your WhatsApp.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I will post this breakdown in the WhatsApp.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Right. So Krishna says here, Yajñātva munaya sarve param siddhim adogadaha. It becomes perfect. And how this perfection? What is this perfection? That is given in the next verse. Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyamagadaha sarge vino vajayande pralaye na vedandisha. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendent nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. So Krishna answers Arjuna's question. Arjuna is asking, what is perfection? What is the perfection these sages have acquired? So Krishna says that by becoming fixed in this knowledge, the importance of knowledge, you acquire my knowledge, my nature. So Krishna is always situated in his internal potency, Samvit, Hadini, Samvit, and this one more. Actually, it is Satchit Anand, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. This is the components of the internal potency, and Krishna is always situated in internal potency, is never situated in the external potency, although external potency is one of his force or one of his potencies. Now, we, the living entity, although a part of this internal potency, because of association, long association matter, we have become what you call dual nature. We have dual potency, but we are situated in the external potency. Now, acquiring this knowledge, you can shed this prakriti or the body which has been binding us. We become free from this bondage. When we become free from bondage, we acquire the similar nature. Our nature is similar to Krishna. We acquire a similar nature, same as Krishna's. So internal potency, which is Satchit and Anand. So the Jiva is also Satchidananda and Krishna is also Satchidananda. The difference is that Jiva is Anu and Krishna is Guru. There are other differences also. Some schools of thoughts, like Shankaracharya, he says, particularly in his translation, says that it is not similar. Some people say, he says that some people say that it's a similar nature. It is not similar. It is assimilating into his nature. Shankara says it is the living entities assimilate in Krishna. That means they become one. Because as per their conception, the jiva or absolute truth is only pure consciousness and nothing else. They will deny existence of anything other than consciousness. While according to us, jiva is a living entity with pure consciousness. So Krishna is a jiva and the living entity is also jiva, jiva is also jiva. But Nityo Nityanam, Chedanas Chedananam, among these eternals, there is one supreme eternal, and among these conscious entities, there is one supreme conscious entity, which is Krishna. The Upanishad says that. So the question is, the consciousness has come from life. Life has not come from consciousness. And the symptom of life is that there is always a desire. Without desire, there is no life. Life means there is desire. And the true desire and true resolve is that we are part of Krishna and we are a son of Krishna and we are to serve Krishna. To achieve that end, that we are to serve Krishna, we have to retain our individuality. So individuality is retained even after liberation, which means we receive spiritual body and spiritual senses by which we can serve Krishna in his own Dham. It is not that our consciousness or consciousness of everyone merge into the supreme consciousness, not like that. The verse itself is used in plural. You can see there is a what is the result of this attainment of nature? Sargevi novajayande pralaye na vyatendicha. Sarge novajayande. One is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. That means it is used in plural. Vajayande vyatendicha. So there are many living entities who have acquired liberation and still hold on to individuality. Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Rig Veda, this Rig Veda. Rig Veda is very clearly given that the liberated souls always serve Krishna, serve Vishnu, Sada Pashyandi. They always serve Krishna after liberation. So this is used in plural. If only there is one consciousness, then when the living, the individual consciousness merging supreme consciousness, then that is over. But here it is said that the sages, the plurality, they continue to serve Krishna, which means even after acquisition or even after attainment of liberation, the individuality is not lost. So when individuality is not lost, then action is there, variegatedness is there, but action and variegatedness in the spiritual life is spiritual and not like a material variegatedness. According to Shankaracharya and the Advaita school, variegatedness is material only. Because of gunas only, the variegatedness appear. But the real position is that the living entity is having action, does action based on the true desire, and that action we call as bhakti, loving devotion service even after attaining liberation. So after explaining these two verses, the importance of this knowledge, the great benefit of this knowledge, then Krishna starts. What is this knowledge? What is this knowledge which prevented the living entity to attain this level? In verse 3 he says, as Mama Yoni Mahab Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamiham Sambhava Saurabhudanam Tado Bhavadi Bharadam. He explains that the total material substance called Brahman is a source of birth and it is that Brahman that impregnate, making possible the birth of all living entities, O son of Bharata. So in verse 27 of 13th chapter, Krishna has said that Yava Sanchayade Kinchit Sattvam Stavara Jangamam Kshetra Kshetrajna Samyoga Tadvidi Paradashava. Whatever is in existence, whatever is existence in this world is a combination of the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Now in chapter 7, these two energies are described. Bhumi Raponilo Vayu and then Abareyam Vidastanyam Pragadimidhime Para. And then Krishna also says that Eda Yoni Am Krishna Jagadha Prabha Pradesa. 7th chapter, verses 4, 5, and 6. Bhumira Ponero Vayu Kamano Budirevacha Hangaramidi Me Pinna Pragdi Ashtadaha Abareyamidastanyam Pragadim Vidime Para Jiva Buddha Mahabaho Yedam Dharide Jagada. Then Krishna says, Eda Yoni Budani Sarvani to Badareya. All that is material and all that spiritual in this world, know that certainly I am the both its origin and dissolution. So Krishna first he says that these are my energies and I am the possessor of this energy in the 7th chapter. In the 13th chapter, he says that this world has become to existence because of the combination of this Kshetra and Kshetra. Now, in this verse, he is explaining who is the cause. That he says, I am the cause for this combination. I am the cause. Nowadays, Sankyates and all that may say that this combination has come automatically. Just like that, the Prakriti and life has come together. Life is produced from Prakriti. Some of these, like these theories, they will, the modern science, as well as Sankyates will mention that. Sankyates always also mention the real Sankyas, I mean, not the real, the impostor Kabira, in his thesis, he will say that there is only Prakriti, only matter is there, and from matter only the life has evolved. But even Shankaracharya is objective. He says that this combination has come to because of Lord only. Krishna says very clearly, he says that I am the cause. Mama Yamoni Mahabrahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamya. So what is this Garbha? The Garbha is the second stage of Prakriti. It's called Mahata. The first stage is, as we know, is Pradhana, is undiluted, unevolved. A block means unmanifest. It is unmanifest, it's not Vekta. And then Mahatota, next stage Mahatota. In that Mahatota, Krishna, in the Pradhana first itself, he glances, and then this Pradhana becomes activated and starts evolving into 24 elements. And Krishna glances at the Mahatotva, impregnating Mahatotva by the living entity through the Kanas, Jiva Kanas. Trillions and trillions and trillions of particles, life particles. So this Brahma, this Prakriti is called Brahma in the sense that it is very huge. Now the comparison can be made between we call gold mine and gold ornaments. Gold ornaments are coming from gold mine only, but gold mine is very huge compared to gold ornaments. So these living entities, the bodies of these living entities, the forms of these living entities, 84 lakh species, are produced from the Brahma, the Mahatattva, by Krishna. no other way. There is no automatic combination. The combination does not come automatically. It comes by design only. And the person who mixes this is Krishna. Makes this combination is Krishna only. And in the purport, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, and he gives an example of this scorpions. The scorpion lays eggs and rice. And after some time, you can see the eggs sprouting and scorpions, small scorpions coming on the rice. And people who are ignorant may think that the scorpions have come from rice. They may say that rice is the cause of the birth of the scorpions. Well, actually, we know that it is because the scorpion had laid eggs on that only is the cause for these scorpions. Similarly, unless Krishna puts the bija, the living entities, the particles of living entities, the Prakriti cannot be activated. Prakriti on its own cannot produce anything. So to make it more emphatic, Krishna says, Sava Yonisha Kaunteya Murteya Sambandhiyaha Tasam Brahma Madhyoni Aham Bija Pradapida. So he says that the living particles is also belong to me. That is why Bija Pradapida, Bija Pradapida, Bija Pradapida. I am the person who is giving this. I am the seed giving. I am endowing this. So both Brahma, the Prakriti, as well as the Bija, the living entity, the living particles, both belong to Krishna only. And since both belong to Krishna, only Krishna can combine this, nobody else. So we can understand that the living entities are impregnated into the matter and they come out with different forms. And these different forms are based on how this 84 lakh species has come to existence because of gunas. How we acquire these forms? There are 84 lakh species of forms starting from Brahma up to the small reptiles, small creatures, some insignificant trees, bodies of devas, bodies of yakshas, bodies of human beings, the forms of animals, plants, aquatics, so many forms are there. What determines what kind of form we can get or we'll get is depending on the action done by us based on the gunas. So ultimately, it is the gunas which determine what kind of form a living entity will have, and that is described in next 5 verses. What is this guna? What are the different gunas, and what are the characteristics of gunas? Given verse from 5 to 9. That we'll discuss in the next class. So thank you very much. So, any clarification you need? Okay, there is no doubt.
No, Prabhu.
Then you can render Narasimha.
Yes, Prabhu. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Chilatanka nakhalai. Ito Narsinho parato Narsinho. Yato yato yami tato Narsinho. Vahi Narsinha Hridaya Narsinha Narsinha Madi Sharanang Prapadi Tabakara Kamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhrungam केशवधृत नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे। जय नरसिंहदेव, जय नरसिंहदेव, नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव, जय नरहरि, नरहरि, नरहरि जय नरहरि, जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय, प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय, प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय, प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय, जय प्रभुपाद, 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 प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। ओम उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्यु नमाम्यहम्। ओम उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्यु नमाम्यहम्। ओम उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्यु नमाम्यहम्। श्री नरसिंह जय नरसिंह, जय जय श्री नरसिंह। प्रह्लादेश जय पद्म मुख पद्म भृंग, श्री नरसिंह जय नरसिंह, जय जय श्री नरसिंह। प्रह्लादेश मुख पद्म, प्रह्लाद मुख पद्म भृंग, सर्वविघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की जय।
जय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च
कृपा सिंधु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नंदपुरी वैष्णव की
जय।
शिला प्रभुपाद की